Keanu Reeves buried his daughter on Christmas Eve in 1999, and just 15 months later, he stood at another graveside, saying goodbye to her mother too. 4 years after that, the world watched him move through fame like a ghost in plain sight, red carpets, flashing cameras, and yet always alone, always carrying something unspoken. Then in November 2019, everything seemed to shift in a single quiet moment when he stepped onto the LACMA gala carpet holding someone's hand, and the internet erupted as if it had just witnessed the ending of a story it never knew had begun. But what most people didn't realize was that this wasn't sudden at all. The truth had been unfolding quietly for a decade, through shared art, private conversations, and a connection built far away from headlines. Long before that moment, long before the fame and the grief became part of his public identity, Keanu's life had already been shaped by instability. Born in Beirut to a young mother chasing creative dreams and a father who would slowly disappear from his life, his childhood became a series of departures. Different countries, different schools, different versions of home that never quite lasted. By the time he was a teenager in Toronto, he had already learned how to adapt, but not how to belong. Struggling with dyslexia, drifting through schools, and eventually dropping out, he found his first sense of purpose on the ice as a hockey goalie, earning the nickname The Wall. But when injury took that dream away, it forced him towards something unexpected: acting. What began as survival jobs and small roles slowly built into a career, not through shortcuts or connections, but persistence. He arrived in Los Angeles with little more than determination, carving his place step by step until the world finally noticed. Fame came, but it never seemed to define him. Even at the height of success, he made choices that confused Hollywood, turning down massive paychecks, stepping away from easy sequels, and refusing to become what the industry expected. And then, just as his career reached new heights with The Matrix in 1999, his personal life shattered. The loss of his daughter, followed by the tragic death of Jennifer Syme, wasn't just heartbreak, it was the kind of grief that changes a person permanently. And for Keanu, it did. He didn't process it in public, didn't turn it into spectacle. Instead, he carried it quietly, letting it reshape how he saw everything: work, money, relationships, even fame itself. Over the years, stories began to surface, not from press releases, but from people around him, crew members, colleagues, strangers, describing a man who gave more than he took, who treated people like they mattered, who never let success harden him. And maybe that's why, when Alexandra Grant entered his life, it didn't look like a typical Hollywood romance. It started with conversations, with art, with shared understanding of loss and meaning. Together, they created books, built projects, and formed something that didn't need attention to exist. So when the world finally saw them holding hands in 2019, it wasn't the beginning of something. It was the reveal of something that had already survived time, silence, and healing. And somewhere in the Hollywood Hills, behind the gates and away from the noise, Keanu Reeves built a life that didn't try to erase the past, but instead made space for it. A life that, after everything, finally started to look like peace.